All right, we're live. We are live. You guys, the gang's all here.
Back.
I'm so overly excited about this. And okay, I have to say, which is kind of annoying, is that both Dan and Adam look thin. Are you guys on like a summer thin diet? Because I'm jealous.
I got an excellent haircut. So, I was in Warsaw. Went to a random barber. It was kind of cool because it was the lady cutting my hair. Turned out she was Ukrainian and she was a refugee. And so we got to talking about what her family's going through, how they're doing, what she's going through. But she gave me one heck of a haircut and trimmed the beard up nicely. So thank you to Oksana for the wonderful haircut.
Oksana, girl, I need you over here.
I just got back from a week and a half of a vacation, and I'm run ragged. My wife said I looked like I lost weight, not by proper eating or anything, just running, eating on the fly, exhaustion. I was having fun, unlike Adam, who's doing good things on his overseas trip. But man, I'm exhausted. I'm happy to be back.
Well, I'm happy to have you guys back because I miss you a lot, always, as you know. Also, to our viewers who are just tuning in, our name has changed. We are the Saratoga Podcast. So welcome to the Saratoga Podcast. Now, why has the name changed? That don't matter. The only thing that does matter, we'll be talking Saratoga 24/7 all the time. Nothing's changed about our content. We're going to be talking politics, news, life, everything that's on the tip of people's tongues in Saratoga Springs this week. And we are hoping to stick to this Wednesday noon time. So moving forward, I know that I've gotten, and maybe you guys have gotten some of this feedback too, but I have gotten some feedback that we're inconsistent in our time. And that's just because we're doing this as a passion project. We're doing this because we love Saratoga, but between the three of us, we've got 4, 6, 8 kids. 8 kids, husbands, wives, met like a million jobs. And so we are back. Puppy? You crazy?
Well, he's older now. He's almost a year.
All right. In that case, okay. So anyhow, let's get into it, you guys, because we have so much to talk about this week. And I just want to do a little preview for people. I would say the headline has been the last 2 city council meetings. There was a special city council meeting on Saturday, and then there was the regularly scheduled city council meeting last Tuesday. And I would say the headline is that there was a lot of debate over some very granular issues. But in my opinion, Mayor Ron Kim looked unhinged. And it concerned me to see him behave the way he was behaving. I honestly am not sure he's fit for office. I felt that Commissioner Montagnino was also behaving horribly. And so I want to get into some of those issues and see what you guys think. I also thought there was a really unexpected hero that has emerged from this, which was Commissioner Dylan Moran, which, as you guys know, my history with him has been a little bit spotty. And so for me personally, to think that he was the hero out of all this is pretty unexpected and pretty exciting. I think Commissioner Golub has also kind of been holding down the ship with his very rational and calm approach. But before we get into that, I would like to bring in our guests for the day. Where are you, Mr. John Kaufman? There he is, the man, the myth, the legend. We have John Kaufman with us today from SaratogaSpringsPolitics.com. John, can you hear me?
I can. Can you hear me?
Yes. Look at the audio working out. I know.
Okay.
Like we have.
What is John drinking this morning? He had his Wheaties. You got more energy than the three of us.
He's just excited to see us, guys.
I think he's excited because it's been such a week in local politics that there's a lot to talk about and some really kind of not usual things going on. John, am I correct?
You are correct. Regrettably.
Regrettably, right?
We would prefer dullness, wouldn't we?
Well, we would. There's other areas we could find some excitement. So I wanted to start this conversation off by saying, and John, I haven't even spoken about this with you. I woke up this morning and I was really, really deeply sad to see on the city's Facebook page and a job advertisement for the Director of Risk and Safety. And as you guys may know, that was a job that was held by Marilyn Rivers for, I think, almost 20 years. I mean, years and years and years. And she is excellent at it. And it is a huge job. She deals with, I can't even describe the amount of things that the Director of Risk and Safety deals with. But suffice to say, No one did it better than Marilyn Rivers. She has saved the city tens of millions of dollars over the year. This city council, not everyone on the city council, I would say probably in particular Mayor Ron Kim, has been obsessively focused on pushing her out. And it appears that they have successfully done that. And that is really tragic. So I almost think we should kind of back our way into how that happened and discuss the last two council meetings. And maybe, John, you could give us a bit of an overview as to what these two last city council meetings were about and why the council needed a special city council meeting on Saturday, this past Saturday morning.
Okay, well, let me just say it's very complicated, the whole thing, and beyond what we can go through completely in this session. And without, I'm afraid to be self-promoting, I'm going to have a blog going into all of this up by Friday. But
self-promote away. We're cool with
okay,
it.
so
we enjoy it.
Yeah, so basically, at the council meeting, the members of the council showed an extraordinary lack of knowledge about how the city functions and about their responsibility. The issue grows out of litigation with someone named Tim Wales, but
former city engineer, is that correct?
City engineer, right? But as just a little bit of background for your people, the city uses Travelers Insurance as its insurance company to handle suits against the city. And the relationship is a little unusual in that the city is officially represented by a lawyer, but the city in its contract with Travers basically gives up all authority over the litigation. It has no role at all in the settlement or any of the litigation. The city for that, and this is not unusual, this is the way the insurance normally works. For doing that, the insurance company pays for all the legal work, which can run into hundreds of thousands of dollars, and is responsible for the payment of whatever settlement is reached or whatever the court decides the city should pay. The city only has to pay $25,000 deductible in the event that there is some sort of payment by the insurer to do that. Okay, it's pretty simple and straightforward. The city has been doing this for a long time.
If I'm not mistaken, and I know none of us are insurance experts, but that's how your car insurance works or your home insurance. If you suffer, if you're in an accident, bad accident, the insurance company, they carry the risk of elements, so they also defend essentially themselves in the suit. So this is not something special to city insurance, correct? This is just kind of a standard insurance protocol.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, and what happened is, and this is a little bit of weeds, but bear with me just for a second. The city has something called a consent agenda. And what happens is the city gets hundreds of bills every month. If the city council had to vote on every one of those bills individually, it would take hours. Okay, so instead what happens is it puts them all into one resolution and lists them all. Okay, and then the council pays for it. And in order to be on that list, it has to be an item that is budgeted by the city, which means the overall target was approved. It met the procurement requirements of the city, in which this case it was an executed contract, and it's gotten a bill identifying what was paid for. Okay, this is a standard thing. Let me just and yes. This is the way the deductible that the city has to pay for any insurance claims has been handled for the past. That's always the way it's been handled.
And just really quick, John, I just wanted to point out, so for anyone who's gone to a city council meeting, the city council meeting begins, there's a public comment period, and then the mayor moves to the consent agenda. And you'll find it listed at the top of the agenda. And there's all these kind of items underneath. And we don't go through all those items. You just vote yay, nay, or you abstain from voting on the consent agenda.
Right.
When I was in office, the items on the consent agenda were not items I personally familiarized myself with. It was something that my deputy did. So I knew that she had gone through them. And if there was anything that needed to be brought to my attention, she would bring it to my attention. But I think in the time that I was there, I don't think there was a single moment where we had an issue with something on the consent agenda. So usually it's something you move through pretty quickly. And anyway, I just wanted to give that kind of context, but continue, John.
So what happened, which is like deeply disturbing, is that Commissioner Montanino went into this, I would call it a rant, in which he stated that the consent agenda simply involved, quote, mops, buckets, and toilets, and it's just minor stuff, okay? And so he then also said that, I'm sorry, let me just go back. So minor items. In fact, Commissioner Montanino is wrong, okay? I have a page from the most recent one, okay, most recent consent agenda. There is a bill on here for $81,000 for rubble blacktop, and another one that simply states service contract, and that's for $20,000. So Montanino, and he
it's an expensive bucket.
Yeah, and he repeated this, and during the meeting, Kim and Sangvi go on in the same direction, saying, yeah. And then he complained that because allegedly the payment for this insurance claim was included in this agenda, that in the future, he was going to have to scrutinize all of this stuff. And he was bitter about it. Well, as Robin points out, this is part of the job. You are approving $1 million worth of items, okay? This is supposed to be done. And he's basically admitting that for 7 months, he hasn't done it. And he's complaining that he's going to have to do it. It was really kind of shocking. So anyway.
So that was the $25,000 deductible for travelers insurance was on the consent agenda.
That's right.
And basically the city council, specifically Commissioner Montanino and Mayor Kim, reacted as if it was something that Commissioner Moran was trying to like sneak in there and slide through so that no one would notice and they would just vote on it. They also all pretended like they didn't know how it showed up on the consent agenda. Like, why was it there? Who put it there? Which again, there was just a lot of political grandstanding going on. And especially with Commissioner Montanino, and I want to get into Mayor Kim after this, but Commissioner Montanino has, to me, consistently now admitted that he's putting things on the agenda or he's voting on things on the agenda, and he doesn't know what he's voting for, or he doesn't know what he's put on and is asking other people to vote for. Because just prior to this, about 2 city council meetings prior, he introduced a resolution to create a new city ordinance for aggressive panhandling. And this is an issue I think we probably all have different opinions on, which is great. But my point is he put this resolution on and he had it just up for discussion. So there was no vote, but they discussed it a bit. And one of the things Commissioner Montanino was saying that he had based it off of a model they had in Rochester, New York. And in Rochester, New York, the city of Rochester was sued over this resolution. And then they went to appeals court. And finally, it was upheld that the city of Rochester, this was a constitutional resolution and they could move forward with it for aggressive panhandling. Commissioner Golub weighed in at the end of that conversation and said, listen, I don't really care about the legalese here. I assume the things we're passing at this city council table have been vetted by the city attorney, and we know that they're constitutional. My question is, did this work in addressing aggressive panhandling in the city of Rochester? And Commissioner Montanino did not know the answer to that. He did not know. He didn't know if it had worked in Rochester. All he said was that Chief Crooks from the police department had the same question, and Chief Crooks was going to make a call to the Rochester Police Department to see if indeed it had worked. And so I don't know how you guys feel about that, but to me, like, it doesn't even matter what the resolution was about. To put up a resolution for a vote that would create like a new city code and was pretty significant without knowing that it achieves the ends that you wanted to achieve, that is That is crazy. And then now to hear that he, for the last 7 months, has not looked at a single consent agenda and has just blindly voted on them, that doesn't really instill a lot of confidence for me as a constituent in his ability to serve on the city council. Thoughts, Adam and Dan?
Jim Montanino has been our punching bag on this podcast, and obviously with good reason. I'm equivalent to just walking off a plane from about 11 days vacation here. So obviously I've been looking at this from a distance, keeping up my website, Saratoga Report, but not as in depth as you folks have. So I'm actually appreciating this enlightenment that the two of you are giving me and Adam and our viewers. Matt, you're more well versed than I am.
Yeah, I mean, my thought on it, Robin, is that you did say he put this up for discussion, right? This was not up for a vote. So, in putting up for discussion, this is why he did that. This is why you put things up for discussion. And I think I personally, and I know, again, I think we differ on this. I think something has to be done, and something's better than nothing. And to get the discussion going and the ball rolling, I think believe me, like you said, Commissioner Montanino, when we disagree with him, we let it be known. But
sure.
but I'm glad somebody did something about this, because it's getting kind of, we all agree there's a problem there, and I think we need to discuss about what's the solution. But at
the end of the day, it failed. They voted it down.
They did vote it down.
Voted it down.
Yeah, but more importantly, I think it does bring it back to our conversation of what was going on. It just seems there was more going on with Dylan Moran, Commissioner Montanino, and Mayor Ron Kim than was seen, because it was a lot of kind of gotcha politics going on between the groups, and about something that seems, on one hand, and maybe one of you two could talk about this, because there's also the accusation made that the $25,000, it was Jim Whalen.
Tim Wales.
Jim Wales. He was a political ally of Dylan Moran. So is there something there, or is that just, is that happenstance? Is that a coincidence?
That's a good question. I'm happy to answer it, but John, you're more than welcome to weigh in.
Go.
I think that I have no idea if they were political allies or not. I really don't know. I don't know Tim Wales at all. But even if they were political allies, this is just paying the deductible of the insurance company. And so I don't see any correlation. Even if they were like bestie friends forever and ever, I don't see how that would have any correlation to paying.
This was still business as usual.
Yeah, that's in my opinion. John, what do you think, John?
Well, let me just say that the meeting was stream of consciousness. It's difficult to pull logic out of all of this, because I think to some extent the animus between Kim and Dylan and they, I'm sure, contributed to it. But it's crazy because you have a bill.
Yeah.
You got a deductible. Okay. I mean, Travelers didn't pony up $75,000 to Tim Wales as a favor to Dylan Moran. I mean,
Correct.
That makes absolutely no sense.
Correct.
But
because John, as you said earlier, the way it works is that Travelers and the attorney they've retained negotiate on behalf of the city without communicating with the city, and so they settle it how they see fit. So it would be really hard, I think, for any politician to influence that if the person in question was a friend or an ally or whatever.
I mean, do you guys have any insight? Does the city attorney is the city attorney complete, like you said, no input? Attorney,
none.
Yeah, no insight.
Because you can understand why. I mean, if you were in the insurance, we can see why they don't do it. Kim is refusing to pay the bill. Okay.
Yeah.
So you can imagine that an insurance company spending all this money on lawyers and settlements, okay, really does not want its client, who could be Ron Kim, to tell them, oh no, you have to redo this.
There may be
which, by the way, if we don't pay the deductible, guess what happens, you guys? We lose our freaking insurance. Well, it's pretty cut and dry.
This is another scary part of it, and that is that I have it from good authority that Kim, well, he said it at the meeting, Kim claims that the representation that the insurance company did was inadequate. This case was originally brought in state court. It was appealed to the appellate division where Wales lost, and Wales then went to federal court, and unfortunately, the two main witnesses, Skip Saratoga and another woman, died. So the insurance company, without these witnesses, decided settle it, be done with it. Okay, this is. But Kim's then says at the meeting that obviously they shouldn't have settled because they won in both other court cases. Okay, because he doesn't do due diligence. But before this is over, I really want to express my concern about Marilyn Rivers and what happened here. Because if you watch the video, and I'm going to have it on my site, I mean, Montenegro is in a rage about this alleged conspiracy and asked who did this, who put this on the agenda. And the person who put it on the agenda was Marilyn Rivers, because she was responsible for overseeing the contract with the insurance company. When they sent her the invoice for the deductible, she put in it. She's been under tremendous stress, and she's been a great employee. And now, not only has she left precipitously, she's on medical leave. She's left on medical leave, because of all of this. And now that leaves a void in terms of that. And it's going over also, Kim managed to move risk and safety to his office. So friends, Ron Kim is now responsible for risk and safety in Saratoga Springs. I just worry about the future liabilities for the city.
Let me jump in here. If I could jump in, Robin, for a second.
Go ahead. Yeah, absolutely.
I just want to say, again, I'm not as well versed on this, so I'm not going to automatically agree with you, although I think down the road I would once I do my own assessment. But here's what I'm seeing from 50,000 feet. Dysfunction, ugly, backstabbing politics, arguably some incompetence. I expect better. I'm not in the weeds yet. I hope to be in a couple days that I can catch up with you guys. But this is bad. You're literally the equivalent of getting off a plane. Of course, it's Saratoga. I'm naive not to expect that. But no, I do expect better as a taxpayer. And I don't want to pick sides yet, but I agree with you. Ron Kim, I've seen him now just in rabid attack mode towards Dylan Moran, who once again seems to have accounted for himself well in a steady way. And maybe in a week I'll say, I looked into it further and it's different than what I said back on that Wednesday. But that's my initial assessment.
And you guys, I got to bring up something. And Adam, I want to see if you agree with me here. Airing out our dirty laundry like this, who would want to do business with the city? If we don't pay our bills, who wants to do business with us? I think this really puts the reputation of the city, front and foremost. It denigrates the reputation of the city because apparently this is how we do business.
The other fear is that what does this potentially do to our bond rating?
Yes,
the city has the ability to borrow money at a very cheap rate. For years under Commissioner Madigan, we had an A+. I mean, it was I think one level above the absolute highest, whatever the technical term for it is. But that allows the city to borrow money, and when we go out to bond projects like the fire station, the third station, we can do that, and we can borrow money at a very, very cheap rate, which saves the taxpayers money.
Yes.
So not paying your bills, everybody knows this, and bring this back to your own pocketbook. If you don't pay your bills and your credit score goes down, you pay more when you need to borrow money. So that certainly is a concern.
And I think our bond rating currently is a AA+. Is that right? AA+ rating.
I think there's a word after plus, but I guess that's why I'm not the commissioner of finance, because I knew most of it, but not all of it. But there's one word that ticks it down a notch. But pretty much we're as good as it can get.
Yeah. John, go ahead. You had something to say. I was just
going to say also, the other thing is, and Robin knows more about this, but for your readers, August is usually the time that the city is working on its budget, okay? And that's always a contentious and difficult process because every department wants all kinds of stuff. Manita Sanghvi has gone on vacation for a month. To India. She's a finance director. She's on vacation for a month. I mean, I guess some of this stuff could be done by Zoom, but this is all very, very unusual.
Yeah.
Let me ask you guys this. Crystal ball, bringing it back to what we were talking about. what is again, these are all hypotheses. If we have one, I don't. What is going on? When we were campaigning, Robin, the Democrats were lockstep. I mean, 4 out of 5 of them were Dylan, Commissioner Moran, Mayor Kim, Jim Montgomery. And now at the table, it looks like you have Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump up there. It's unbelievable to see this. And I certainly think discord is good, even among your own party members, because you should have the ability to disagree, but in constructive ways, not in the ways we're seeing. So do you guys have any thoughts on what's going on?
Yeah, I have some thoughts, but do you mind if I hop in, John, really quick?
Oh.
So here's my one comparable. Okay, I campaigned with Michelle Madigan and Meg Kelly as a one Saratoga team. I would say about 2 weeks into office, Mayor Meg Kelly flipped a switch and it became a completely different person. We no longer got along. She treated me horribly. But the difference is I didn't let that spill over into the city council meetings, and neither did she. And so while we didn't get along behind the scenes, at the city council table, we were professionals. And I think that Commissioner Moran is being a professional, and I think that Commissioner Golub is being a professional. I don't see a lot of professionalism with Commissioner Songvi, simply because this is her 4th vacation. This is a crazy amount of vacation. I realize the job pays $14,500, but you can't work like it pays $14,500. Okay, so it concerns me that she's leaving when budget season's just about to begin, and it's her first budget season. But Mayor Kim and Commissioner Montagnino, it's like they need to look up the word professionalism in a goddamn dictionary, because I think they have no understanding of what it means. Nothing. And Les Dan, as you said, we do deserve better. This is insane. This is anyone who goes back on the city's website and looks at the council meetings, the last 2 council meetings, or goes on John's website, SaratogaSpringsPolitics.com, and follows along there. You can watch clips on there. So if you don't want to read what John has to say because you feel like it might be editorialized, you can still watch the clips. The clips don't lie, people. The clips do not lie. Anyhow, John, carry on.
Well, I was just going to say, when you watch these clips, I have to give Dylan Moran credit, because Montagnino was beside himself attacking him in a way that was just harsh and over the top. And regrettably, Kim does nothing, to encourage the tone being brought down. Seriously, friends, if Montagnino had gone on to me like at a meeting that way, I don't know what I would have done. I might have just left the meeting. It was that toxic. But let me just say, the problem is it's all rooted in the fact that these council members, they are uninterested in finding out the details of what's involved with their job.
Well, I don't think all of them are. I don't think all of them are.
No, the three.
The three, yeah.
The three are indifferent to that. And when you're ignorant, it's easy to get angry and outraged and paranoid because you don't really fully understand what's going on. And that is just the final indictment of these people.
I agree. And I think the beginning of this was all how Ron Kim handled the city attorney's office in that position. Because I think that if he had a strong city attorney in place, and Tony Izzo is wonderful, but this is a job that requires at least 2 people. And the way he totally bungled that whole thing, I think we're seeing the after effects now. I mean, to me, this is such a direct after effect. Wouldn't you say, John?
Yeah. I mean, let me say that at one point, I'm not going to be quite as generous to Tony as you are. At one point in the meeting, Golub asks Tony, well, could you comment on this consent agenda thing and the history of it and so forth? And Tony claimed, I really don't know enough about it. I'm willing to research it. What happened there is Tony has survived for 35 years as the assistant attorney because basically he's kind of a go-along guy. He was caught between Dylan Moran and the other 3 people, and he punted.
Who could blame him? John, who could blame him? Hey, Tony, you want to dive into this pile of shit? Yeah, let me jump right in. No, it was a savvy move on his part.
You're right. You're right. But I hope you with that, What can I tell you? I would say also Vince Diller. I knew Vince. I know Vince. I'm telling you, Vince would have answered that question. You're right, and Vince would have risked being fired by Kim. Okay, but I would submit that if they asked him a question, he would have answered it. In fact, I think Vince would have researched it earlier, knowing Vince, and tried to explain to these people, you got to pay this bill.
Well, and I think to me, the point is that it's clear to me that the city council, save for Ron Kim, is having a hard time accessing the correct legal opinion prior to going to a city council meeting. Because if this were during my time in office and Vince were there and Tony was there, this wouldn't have gotten to the city council table. These horrible arguments wouldn't have happened at the council table, because this would have been settled behind the scenes, as it should be settled behind the scenes. And so I think that is the problem with not having two strong and competent city attorneys, but also having a mayor that allows you to have access to them. Because from what I hear, Mayor Kim seriously restricts the other city council members' access to their city attorney and other city attorneys that work with the city. And I think that is really horrific. And I think that Mayor Kim does not understand his job. And I think he is making it incredibly difficult for the city council to do the business they need to do by the actions he's taken.
Yeah, I would jump in on that. I have a question for you, Robin.
Sure.
35 years ago, when my dad became a town justice, the Office of Court Administration held classes around the state to teach people how to be a town justice. Municipal elected officials, NICOM or is there another trade association or the state? Are there classes? Because we've seen a lot of mistakes in 8 months in office.
You crack me up, Dan Federici, and I'll tell you why. You crack me up. Yes, there are classes you can take, 100%. Do you think Ron Kim or James Montanino would ever go take a class about anything? These are men who think they know everything. They know everything. If you want to suggest taking a class with them, Godspeed, my friend. They need one, I agree. But would they take one? Hell to the no.
And shame on them. Shame on everybody that's a new council member for not getting some level of schooling, I guess.
Yeah.
Also for your
NICOM offers them. NICOM offers them for every new elected official.
Also for the listeners of this, all I can say to people is that the morale in City Hall is horrendous, okay? Because the resources are there to educate these people. Aside from taking the course, they have people around them to educate them. And you can imagine if you worked for a boss who you had to watch making all these bad decisions and there was nothing you could do about it. He wouldn't consult you. And in fact, if you disagree with him, he can be vituperative and a problem in the future. So we have, I don't know what's going to happen during these 2 years.
You got to wonder where Angela Rella is in all this. We have a deputy mayor named Angela Rella. She's an attorney. She's a smart, competent individual. And I have to wonder where she is in all of this. How can she let Mayor Ron Kim run the way he's running? It is mind-boggling to me.
Do you guys think our police department is just like taking a big sigh and saying, thank goodness for a year and a half this was all directed at us. like, we could just go and do our job, and all this the stuff flying around is
we can do our job with the 4 people that are left, and it'll be okay.
Yeah. Well,
we actually had
What is the current status then of Miss Rivers?
She is on indefinite medical leave. I mean, the stress obviously is just overcome her. She was supposed to retire in April. Next April. Yeah, coming April. Okay. She's supposed to retire in April after she'd have her 20 years in. Any other institution, and knowing how hard she'd worked for the city would never have put her through this. If anything, a mayor, I'm just saying, if anything, you would have expected a decent mayor would have actually gone up to her office and said, listen, I'm really sorry that all this happened at the meeting. I'm supportive of you. Don't worry. No, none of that happened. And she's gone.
Yeah, John, you're assuming that Mayor Kim knows the S word, and I don't think that he does. But yes, she is gone. We can confirm that she's gone. If you guys go to Facebook and you look up the city, the job posting is up. So she is no longer the director of risk and safety.
I'm not. Let's put it this way: she's officially on indefinite medical leave.
They're hiring another director of risk and safety. So
is it possible?
Let me
just say it could be for April. I don't know, but first of all, I just don't know the details. All I do know for sure is that she's on indefinite medical leave. She may have indicated that officially that she is not coming back. I don't know.
By the way, folks, for those listening, if you're hearing a voice in the background of John Kaufman's feed, that would be his lovely wife, Jane Way, who is one half of this terrific twosome.
I would say 3/4.
3/4.
Yeah.
90%,
And I have not been kicked once during this entire.
Well, John, in that case,
it's not over.
I was just going to say, I was actually going to wrap up our conversation because I know that Adam has a hard out and I want to talk to him about Ukraine before we leave. But we thank you so much, John. You were the best. Everyone look for John's columns on SaratogaSpringsPolitics.com.
John, I need to catch up with you. Sorry, I've been.
Hey, not a problem, man. We'll talk to you. Thanks. Bye.
Thank you, John.
Thanks, John.
Always insightful.
Hello. All right. Core team, core 3. Adam Israel. Adam is in Ukraine right now. And Adam, can you tell our viewers when you went over and kind of what your experience has been like and how we can help continue to support what you're doing in Ukraine and with Ukrainian refugees?
Sure. So I've been over here now for about 2.5 weeks. Started off in Poland, and the good news is what we've seen in Poland is a real drawback of the refugee crisis. It seems like that flux, that mass of refugees now is not here. The tents you saw put up outside the Warsaw Central train station is down now. There's still booths where refugees can go and get assistance and get help, but there's 2 people of 2,000. So in Poland, it's great. But what you're seeing now is really the need has shifted towards Ukraine, because there's a lot of people who either because they're in occupied territories cannot leave Ukraine, because of financial situations they can't leave Ukraine, or because of their health they can't leave Ukraine. So now there's an even greater need for assistance in Ukraine. I just talked to a lady today whose parents are an occupied part of Ukraine in the eastern part, and they say people now work for food because there's no way to access money. There's zero way to send them assistance. We can't send them. There's no way for them to go to an ATM and draw money. Again, their salary is being paid in food. They wake up at 6 a.m. every morning to the Russian national anthem.
Wow.
And so what I see, and this is just me happening, is Russia starting to set up a West and East Ukraine like they did essentially in Berlin when there was the Berlin Wall. Right now, I can say that the fighting is eerily quiet, but I get the sense from my contacts here and the people I know who are actually out there and working with the people who are fighting that it's about to get very hot again. Ukraine, and this was something that was really neat last night, and actually makes me a little nervous about being in Ukraine right now. But last night they were able to hit a Russian air base in Crimea, and what's interesting about this is that it was something like 300 kilometers away, and there were 2 explosions there, rocked the air base. It was right next to a very popular beach where it's now full of Russian tourists who all fled. There was huge traffic jams getting out. But if they can only shoot 120 kilometers, how are they reaching a base 300 kilometers? And there's a lot of speculation of, maybe the U.S. initially was holding back on giving them these long range rockets because the U.S. didn't want Ukraine firing into Russia. Maybe Ukraine has these rockets. Maybe it was insurgents inside this area who somehow pulled this off. Russia's claiming that it was actually they mishandled weapons and these bombs exploded. But for whatever reason, it's a good sign. The bad sign is that when Putin is embarrassed, he takes it out on the civilian population in Ukraine. So our fingers are crossed that, no bus stations are hit, no malls are hit, as we've seen in the past. But we're here in Ukraine. We're doing everything we can to just to try to help the people who can't leave. You can always support us. Letters of Hope for Ukraine. Our Facebook page is the best way. I can't thank the Giving Circle enough for partnering with us. So all donations now can be tax deductible. And the IRS is hiring like 87,000 new agents. So you want those tax deductions, but you can still write letters. You can put $20 in them. You can drop them off at the inn in Saratoga. We're going to be doing this in some form or another, back and forth for as long as it takes to help a struggling nation fighting one of the,
as long as it takes to kick some Russian ass and get them the fuck out of there.
Exactly.
So this is Adam. This is your third trip over there.
This is my third. This is my third time. My third trip. Yep, and also my third trip into Ukraine. So
okay, this is more.
That's
extensive.
pretty incredible.
Yeah, there's more extensive into Ukraine. It seems like before it was like quicker trips. I think it seems like you're spending more time there than you had previously.
I am, because on this trip I was lucky enough where my family came to Poland with me while the kids were on holiday. So I was able to do work in Poland and still spend quality time with my family. So that allows me a little more time to come into Ukraine and again, set up the networks we have here to distribute these letters and to distribute aid. So.
Adam, you're incredible. I feel like you could have a second career as an international war correspondent. I'm just throwing that out there. If you want me to put together some reels and send it to the networks, I can do that.
Yeah, I know. Sometimes I'm like, what am I doing over here? What's going to become of this? But I can't stress this enough. And you hear this from, and I monitor all these channels where Ukrainians and Ukrainian leaders talk about what's going on. And the common thing you hear is everybody just does something. Everybody does a little gesture, a big gesture, something, whether it's supporting me, whether it's supporting somebody who's affected by this war, whether it's calling a representative and saying that you support America supporting Ukraine. This is what's keeping Ukraine in this fight. And this is what's going to help Ukraine win this fight. And so that's really the message I keep on wanting to get out is support me, but more importantly, just support Ukraine any way you can.
Well, on that note,
Robin, you're great, Adam. I'm honored to know you. This is so great what you're doing.
You are. It is pretty incredible, and and I will continue to tell you you're incredible, because this is such an important message to continue to get back to Americans. Support little or big. You just are asking for support for Ukraine. Which is something I think we can all rally around as we have. Listen, guys, we have 4 more minutes. I wanted to quickly get to our cheers and jeers if we can. Adam, is that all right with you? Do you have a quick
let's do it
for cheers and jeers? Okay,
yeah.
Let's do it. Does anyone have any lined up? Cheers and jeers. Anybody got them?
I can shoot if
Dan,
you'd like.
Go for it, Dan.
Okay. For some reason, this has been below the radar because I've only caught it on Adam's What's Going On Saratoga Facebook page. I have not seen the press report on it, but apparently the Open Space Institute came to some sort of terms with the Dake family on a previous issue we reported on Snake Hill. So
no way.
I got to do some more on it. I only saw a blurb on Facebook of maybe a week and a half ago, but it was very encouraging. I was very excited to see that. We'll have to follow up on that next week. Maybe have somebody from the Saratoga Lake Association on to follow through on that. But that is certainly my cheer for the week. My jeer, oh my God, am I mad? I was just down in Boston Spa. Gas is below $4 a gallon at a number of gas stations down there. Here in the Spa City, a couple miles away, $4.39 at every station.
That's
so you
crap.
get some price gouging going on, and it seems like you got some wink and nod price fixing going on. It sure seems that way. And I'm a little mad at Stewart's. Because they have several gas stations in the city, and yet the ones down in Boston Spot are 30 cents cheaper, $4.09 at the one on Route 50 and North Line Road, $4.39 at the ones on West Avenue, and the one right here on Church Street. I'm really bothered by this. You cannot tell me 30 or 40 cents a gallon difference is justifiable by a few miles.
So conveniently, gas prices are higher during the track season in Saratoga Springs and nowhere else. That's what you're saying,
I think they're
correct?
always high here. They're always high here. Maybe more so. To your point, perhaps more so. But it's like we're trapped here on an island. I mean, really, we can just drive a few miles. We should. There's a 30 to 40 cents or more price difference between a few miles. One village of Boston Spa and the town of Milton versus the city of Saratoga Springs. There's something absurd about that. Shame on us as consumers for not voting with our wallets. But that's a problem.
That is a problem. Adam, do you have any cheers and jeers, my friend?
Yeah. So I get my cheers. Actually, Robin Dalton goes to you. In one podcast, you gave a compliment to Mayor Kelly and to Dylan Moran, Commissioner Moran, in one podcast. Is hell frozen over? What's going on?
You guys are becoming such a positive person.
I guess. But my cheers goes to the Polish police force. This is twice in my third times that I've gotten pulled over about 1.5 miles from the border. And, both times you're approaching the border, your adrenaline's going, you're about to drive into a country at war, and you're just tunnel visioned. And both times they nailed me. So Polish police force, come on, we're bringing good. What did
they nail you for? Speeding? For
speeding twice. Yeah.
Did you get like the equivalent of a ticket, or how did it work out?
I have to be honest with you, they have a credit card machine, and it's the equivalent of like $60 US, and you pay the $60 US. I mean, they show you the gun; it's legit. When you get pulled over, Dan, you probably know this. When you see those sirens, well, in Poland they just hold up a little red stop sign, but when you see that, you immediately look down, you see how fast you're going. I was speeding, I did it, But they give you this thing, and you pay. You use your MasterCard and you pay. And the goodness, it's not like the States where you go. I guess it'd be nice to be able to appeal it. I don't know. Maybe you could, but for me, pay the $60 and come to Ukraine. So
it's a velocity tax. You want to go fast, you got to pay.
Yeah,
a velocity tax. That's hysterical. Only you could get pulled over right now in Poland for speeding, Adam. That freaking cracks me up for some reason. Well, my cheer and jeer are. My cheer is, I guess, to piggyback off of Adam, I want to cheer Meg Kelly for always keeping our issues off of the city council table. I appreciate that. And I also want to cheer Commissioner Moran, because I think he's been doing an excellent job, and I think he's a really honest guy. And I have a deep appreciation for people who are honest, whether we agree or not. So cheers to both of them. My cheer for the week.
I'm dying to hear this.
I know. Drum roll.
It's going to be a thinly veiled cheer or jeer. My jeer for the week is friends don't sue friends. If you know somebody and you have an issue with the name of their podcast, you pick up the phone and you call them. You don't use an attorney and send nasty letters. You pick up the phone and call them, and it resolves easily. So my jeer is to that person who couldn't pick up that phone, couldn't send that Facebook message, couldn't send that email, but sent the nasty letter instead. Not cool. Friends don't sue friends. And anyway, we're welcome to the Saratoga Podcast. I think this first episode with our new name rocked, you guys. And I look forward to many, many podcasts in the future. This was our 20th one, by the way, guys. 20th podcast.
Oh,
wow.
All right.
Yeah.
We'll see you Wednesday at noon.
We'll see you Wednesday at noon. Yes. Thank you all. Mwah. Bye, guys.
Bye-bye. Take care, Saratoga.